In the last video, we read from a file and wrote to a file. In this video, we'll change the output and write to a database table. So first, we'll remove the write file operator and replace it with a write table operator. Now, we already have a connection artifact that will allow this table operator to connect to the Oracle database. So we'll select that connection artifact. But now, to create the schema, we again use the composite type that describes the output from the transform editor to create the schema. Now, in addition to creating the schema file, it also allows us to select the database schema into which the table will be created and to define the DDL of the table. Here you can see that the table will contain 3 columns, and we'll slightly change the DDL to make the column sizes a little more realistic. So now, in creating the schema artifact, we not only have a description of what the data will look like within our expressor application, but also what the DDL needs to be in order to create the target table. So on the Properties panel for the write table operator, we'll select the option to create the table if it doesn't exist. Now we'll save our application and we'll open the Oracle viewer and examine the contents of that schema. We'll log in and list out the tables that already exist in the HR schema. And you can see that there's no table there to hold the president's data. Now we'll return to Studio and run the application. And again, the results window shows that 44 records were processed. And now we'll return to the Oracle viewer and view the database tables. You can see now that there's a new table for the president's data. And if we select that table and display its data, we'll see that the content of the original file has now been written to the database table.